Snow fell gently over the city that Christmas Eve, blanketing the streets in a silence that felt almost sacred. While most families were gathered around fireplaces, unwrapping gifts and sharing laughter, Ethan Cole, the youngest self-made CEO in the state, was still at his office, staring blankly at a report he wasn't really reading. To the world, he had everything: wealth, power, influence. But at home, he had something far more precious: a 6-year-old son named Daniel, the only light left after his wife passed away 3 years earlier. Christmas wasn't easy for them. Not anymore. Ethan tried to fill the void with toys, decorations, and presents, but he knew what Daniel wanted most: a family that felt whole again. On his drive home that night, the streets shimmered with lights. Children clutched their parents' hands, dragging them toward Christmas displays. Ethan's chest tightened. He thought of Daniel waiting by the tree, asking once again if Mommy could see them from heaven. He promised himself he'd be home before midnight, no matter what. But fate had other plans. As his car turned down a quieter street, Ethan's gaze caught something unusual: a small figure curled against a pile of trash bags near an alley. At first, he thought it was a cat, but as the headlights swept over, his heart nearly stopped. It was a child, a little girl, no older than Daniel, wrapped in a thin coat that was soaked through, her tiny arms hugging herself against the cold. Ethan slammed the brakes and rushed out. Hey, sweetheart," he called, his voice trembling. She stirred, her lips pale, her eyes fluttering open. "Please, don't take me back," she whispered weakly. His chest ached at the fear in her voice. No, you're safe," Ethan said gently, pulling his coat around her shivering body. "What's your name?" "Lila," she whispered. "I didn't mean to fall asleep. I was just so tired." Ethan carried her to his car, cranking the heat. As he drove, he asked questions, but her answers were fragmented. She had no shoes, just socks with holes. No parent came looking for her. All she had was a small, torn backpack with a faded stuffed rabbit inside. When Ethan pulled into his mansion's driveway, his son Daniel came running out, his face lighting up, until he saw the girl. "Dad, who's that?" "This is Lila," Ethan said softly. "She needed a place to stay tonight." Daniel's eyes softened. "Can she stay for Christmas?" That night, Lila ate more than she had in days. Daniel shared his cookies with her and even let her hold his favorite toy car. But when Ethan tucked them into bed, he noticed something that left him unsettled. Lila flinched every time he moved too quickly, as though bracing for punishment. The next morning, Ethan made some calls. No missing child report matched her description. Social services were closed for the holiday. He felt torn. Should he keep her with him, or risk sending her somewhere cold and unfamiliar? For the first time in years, his instincts shouted louder than logic. He kept her. Over the next days, Ethan saw pieces of her story unravel. Lila's mother had died months earlier, and her father, an alcoholic, had left her to fend for herself. She had been living on the streets, hiding near bakeries for scraps of bread. Every time Ethan tried to talk about family, her eyes would glaze with sorrow, and she'd clutch that stuffed rabbit tighter. But slowly, with Daniel's innocent warmth, she began to laugh again. They built snowmen in the yard, baked cookies, burning half of them, and watched Christmas movies piled under blankets. Ethan found himself smiling in ways he hadn't since his wife passed away. For the first time, the house felt alive. Still, Ethan knew this couldn't last forever. One evening, after Lila was asleep, he called a lawyer friend. "I need to know what it would take to give her a permanent home," he said. The legal battle wasn't easy. Lila's father eventually resurfaced when he learned about Ethan's wealth, demanding custody. He claimed he wanted his daughter back, but it was clear he only wanted money. Lila cried, begging not to be taken away. Ethan promised her, "I won't let anyone hurt you again." In court, Ethan's reputation as a ruthless businessman was used against him. The opposing lawyer painted him as too busy, too cold to raise another child. But then Daniel stood up, clutching Lila's hand. His small voice broke the silence. "Please, Your Honor, my dad already takes care of me, and he's the best. Lila's my sister now. We need her, and she needs us." The judge's eyes softened, and tears filled the courtroom. Ethan's heart swelled with pride. The ruling came through. Full custody was granted to Ethan. Lila was officially his daughter. That Christmas night, the three of them stood by the tree. Lila's eyes sparkled as Ethan handed her a small wrapped box. Inside was a golden locket with a picture of her mother on one side, and on the other, a new family photo they had taken together. "You'll never be alone again," Ethan whispered, hugging both children close. For the first time in years, Ethan believed in Christmas miracles. And for Lila, the little girl who had once slept on trash, life had given her the greatest gift of all, a family that truly loved her. One message. Sometimes, the greatest blessings come when we least expect them. Love isn't defined by blood, but by the people who choose to stay, protect, and cherish us. Do you want me to also add dialogue-rich emotional scenes like when Daniel asks Lila to be his sister, or when Ethan comforts her during nightmares to make it even more gripping for YouTube narration?